regional center of Paediatrics, Kubalonka in Istebna, was founded by the Silesian Parliament in 1936, and since the beginning it has offered treatment for children and teenagers suffering from the respiratory system diseases like asthma, pneumonia and bronchitis. Dysfunctions of motor organs and many types of scoliosis have also been cured and rehabilitated in the center. Nowadays, 4,000 patients are treated annually. The hospital specializes in treatment of junior patients aged between 3 and 5 years old. Those children can be accompanied by relatives during the whole therapy, which is a great comfort for them and a convenience for their parents. The center is located 758 meters above the sea level at Kubalonka Pass in the Beskid Śląski mountain range. The whole hospital, its premises and land belong to the Beskid Śląski Landscape Park, and they are included into Natura 2000 protection zone. The unique climate, landscape and ecological aspects allow the center to achieve the most effective diagnostic, treatment and rehabilitation results, and what's more, they strengthen the necessity of nature conservation. The hospital is situated far away from larger settlements, therefore has no access to any basic energy infrastructure, which results in the necessity for the total energy self-sufficiency. At present, the hospital is in possession of 2 water intakes, 4 kilometers of pipelines, its own sewage system and its own treatment plant. It has its own sources of thermal energy and an emergency electrical power source. All this shows the vast range of the hospital's pro-ecological actions. To preserve the unique natural environment and maintain the highest medical standards, and strive for cost reduction at the same time, it was necessary to take many pro-ecological steps. The replacement of fossil fuels by renewable energy sources and lowering the energy consumption by minimizing energy loss were critical. The hospital holds its own boiler house. In the years 2003-2004, the first stage of its modernization started, and due to infrastructural limitations, for example the lack of access to any other energy sources, the use of devices for burning solid fuel turned out to be a necessity. At this stage, the old and energy-consuming boilers were replaced by the modern, more effective and ecological ones. They run on ecological coal. This decision led to an annual decrease in fuel consumption of 240 tons, which resulted in emission reduction of 27% and cost reduction of 18%. In 2007, under the Eco-Fund program, with the support of the Silesian Marshal's Office and the Voivodeship Fund for Environmental Protection and Water Management in Katowice, together with the significant contribution of the Paris Club, we installed solar panels in our hospital. They cover the area of 320 square meters with the power of 248 kilowatts, and they help out in production of domestic hot water. This led to the further annual reduction in consumption of fossil fuels by 9%, which stands for 95 tons. In 2011, we modernized one of the boilers supplying hot water by adjusting it to burning a seasonal fuel, which is sawdust. The use of sawdust as a burning material enables us to cut the heating costs again, as it can be used seasonally and produce heat, the energetic value of which equals one produced by 60 tons of coal. In the mountains, this material is cheap, easily available, and while burning, the emission of pollutants is at very low level. The next project, which we started last year and plan to complete in 2017, is the installation of heat pumps. The use of pumps for water heating will lead to elimination of coal consumption. Policy of energy costs efficiency can be exemplified by the successful attempts to cut heating costs. The heating itself consumes 60% of the total energy produced by the center, and kitchen appliances consume another 9%. Our determination to reduce both costs and emission of pollutants resulted in the need for waste reduction. Thermal modernization became our priority. In the years 2008 to 2011, the walls and ceilings in the buildings were insulated and all doors and windows were replaced, which led to a decrease in the costs of coal consumption of about 27%, which stands for 250 tons. It should be pointed out that the implementation of this extremely expensive project, estimated at the cost of 1.1 million euros, was possible thanks to the significant contribution of European funding offered by the European Regional Development Fund, the Voivodeship Fund for Environmental Protection and Water Management, and the Silesian Marshal's Office. In 2012, the kitchen in the hospital was totally modernized. The old energy-inefficient steam boilers were replaced by the new energy-efficient electric ones. Thanks to this, the coal consumption fell by another 50 tons. As we can see, the Regional Center of Paediatrics Kubalonka represents the unique example of the entirely self-sufficient, environmentally aware unit. Self-sufficiency has become its necessity and environment protection its need and priority. The Regional Center of Paediatrics Kubalonka in Istebna offers its services for little and teenage patients, many of whom return every year and often visit us as adults, remembering the time they spent with us, not only medical procedures, which helped them of course, but the time spent in the mountains and the woods surrounded by wonderful wildlife.